يا الله محمد رسول الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله.
My dear respected brothers and sisters, we still like talk about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our beloved Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wallahi, my dear respected brothers and sisters, when you read the life of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, not by your eyes, we want to read the history of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam by our hearts. We want the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to make some effects in our life, some changes in our life. When you read the rahmah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the trust of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the many great manners Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do in his life. And when Aisha radiallahu anha was asked about the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the akhlaq, the manners of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she doesn't say he used to be merciful, he used to be this and that. She said sallallahu alaihi wasallam was Quran, walks between people, in front of people. He was like a Quran. That's why some people, they say, we trust the Quran, but we don't trust the Sunnah. And this is not right. And if you don't accept the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that means you reject the Quran. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran says, وَمَا آتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ. Whatever Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gives you, you have to take it. You have to accept it. And the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the light to understand the Quran and the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So one of the manners of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, al-amanah. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam was trustworthy even before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent him as a messenger for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to us. And imagine the disbelievers, they used to be like the enemies of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even though they tried to kill him sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they used to give Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam their important things and to put their important things in his house because they don't even trust each other. But they trust Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They don't want to follow him, but they still trust him sallallahu alaihi wasallam because they know that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam the most trustworthy among the human beings at that time. This is the message for every Muslim. If you want to be with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you have to be trustworthy. You have to practice the teachings of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Imagine when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the heavens, the earth, the mountains, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them to take, to hold, to carry the amanah, the trust, and they said, it's not going to be easy for us. And the human beings, and insan, he took it. Us, we accepted it. So we have to be strong enough, not in our bodies, but in our iman, in our heart, to hold this amanah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned at the end of the ayah in Surah Al-Ahzab, وَحَمَلَهَا الْإِنسَانُ إِنَّهُ كَانَ ظَلُومًا جَهُولًا. These two manners, bad manners, they make the believer or the person will be so weak to hold the amanah, to carry it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّهُ كَانَ ظَلُومًا. He was unjust. And jahula, the ignorance, cover his mind. So if you are unjust, and ignorance will take you away from holding the amanah. So brothers and sisters, let us try as much as we can to practice the amanah in our life. And imagine Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he described the hypocrites people, he said sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the hypocrites or the hypocrisy has three signs. The first one, the person who is hypocrite, if he speaks, he lies. The second one, وَإِذَا وَعَدَ أَخْلَفَ. If he promised, he doesn't fulfill his promise. وَإِذَا اؤْتُمِنَ خَانَ. And he is not trustworthy. So these signs, if anyone combines the three signs in his life, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, the end of the hypocrites people, that will be not any place in the hellfire, the bottom of the hellfire. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يعافينا وإياكم إنه على ما يشاء قدير. Imagine when Rasulullah ﷺ was talking about the trust. He said, the one who doesn't have trust, the one who is not trustworthy, he is not a believer. So the belief is connected with the trust. So we have to take care of it, brothers and sisters. We have to, think about it, and we're going to mention, inshallah ta'ala, the kinds of trust. Because some people, they think to be trustworthy, if someone gives you or puts, something important in your house or in your store, or give you something important, you have to hold it and protect it until he comes back anytime and you give it to him. This is kind of trust. But let us to talk about the other kinds, inshallah ta'ala. As I said, there are many kinds of amana, trust, and the most important amana and trust in our life is our religion, our deen. And the amana and the trust of our deen has to be, hold three categories. First, to learn your deen, your religion. Second, to practice your deen. The third one, to tell other people about your deen. And if you look at our life, we don't have enough knowledge about the important things in our deen. I'm not talking about, the knowledge of, everything in the fiqh and the seerah and other things. I'm talking about the basic things of our deen. How to pray by the way of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Imagine some of the scholars, they said, if you go to take a shower after you sleep with your wife, and if you don't wash the whole body as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned in the hadith, you are not trustworthy. Imagine. So it's very important to know your deen. And brothers and sisters, wallahi, if you take this topic or thing serious, go your home and look at your library. Look at your stuff at home. How many things, important things related to your deen in your house? Of course, every one of us, alhamdulillah rabbil alamin, we have the Quran. Do you have the tafsir? We should have it. The explanation of the Quran. And it's going to cost you $60 or $70 only, not that much. Or you have it in the internet. But we don't do some search about our deen. Wallahi ya ikhwah, if there is anything related to our business, we'll go to search, take classes, study it and ask about it. But when it's related to our deen, some people, they feel shy to come and ask about how to pray, how to, give my zakah. And we receive, mostly every Friday, we receive a letter from the same person about the zakah. Jazakallahu khairan. He used to give the zakah every week. So maybe he received his, check or income and takes the zakah of it and put it in the box. It's good action. But that means you don't know the reality of zakah. The zakah has to be done at the end of the year, as Rasulullah ﷺ told us. Not every week. So you have to wait until the end of the year, then see how much you have money, and take to one half person and give it to the masjid or to the right channel. I mean by that, we have to understand our deen. We have to have something in our house, in our houses, related to our deen. Do you have the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a book or CD or in any program at home? We have to have it. We have to have something related to our deen. So when we have any question, we cannot call the imam, we cannot go to the masjid, we cannot wait until next Friday. You have the book at home. Try just to open it and read something. Brothers and sisters, we made copies of the monthly schedule for the salah for this month and the next month, inshallah ta'ala. I encourage all of you to have it, copy in your home or work or wherever. And brothers and sisters, intentionally I put 3 questions. I'm not going to tell you the questions now, but I want everyone to have the paper and see the questions and ask yourself. حاسب نفسك قبل أن تحاسب. I wrote them in Arabic and English. by my weak English. But alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, we try to give the message as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it from us. So, brothers and sisters, we have to understand and learn our deen, practice it in our life, and tell other people about it. And imagine if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides one person because of your sincerity. This person, as we mentioned many, many times, all of his good deeds will be added to you. So this is great blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let us to take advantage of this blessing in our life in this country, while we live with non-Muslims. Yet, as one of the scholars said, non-Muslims yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows, maybe many of those people, if they look at our amana, our trust, our akhlaq, our manners, they may accept Islam inshaAllah ta'ala. Also, one of the amana, one of the trust, the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for us. The wealth, the health, even our organs. Your organs are not yours 100%, as some people they think by this way. You cannot sell your eye. You cannot sell part of your body. Islamically, it's forbidden. It's haram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you this as a gift, as a grace. So you have to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and use the organs, your body, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to use it. And try to get the satisfaction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by using your organs in the same way, in the right way, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do in his life sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Also our honor, because one of the people whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not look at their faces with the mercy, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned in the hadith, those who see the bad and evil things in the practice of their families and they don't care. And wallahi ya akhwan, we see sometimes this kind of people in our life in this country. But remember, if you do this, that means you are in a dangerous area. You have to, think about how can I return to the right path and protect myself and my family to be, inshallah ta'ala, together with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the Jannah. Also, the secret is amana, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned. If you talk to your brother about the secret thing, or your brother told you about the secret thing about himself, don't tell any other person. Even your wife, and the sisters, even your husband. Don't tell him anything. Because this is secret. And imagine, Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu ardah, once he was playing with the kids, as he mentioned in the hadith, and this hadith sahih. Imam Nawawi rahimahullah mentioned this hadith in Riyadh al-Salihin. He said, I was playing with the kids, and he was a kid. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to me and told me something. He said, Anas, go to do something for me. He did it. Then he went back home, and he was a little bit late. Not late after Isha. It was late like after Asr or after Dhuhr. And his mom told him, why you are late? He said, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent me to do something for him. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She said, what he told you? He said, this is a secret between me and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He told his mom, this is a secret between me and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What do you think? His mom going to say, I will beat you if you don't tell me the secret? No, she said, great job, my son. Keep the secret of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We want to put the trust in the hearts of ourselves and our families. We want to teach these teachings to our kids, to our family, so they may know the reality of the life of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Some people, if you tell them something, a secret thing about yourself, if you have any problem with them, the same day or the second day, you will see the secret thing about you all over Bakersfield or the world. Now we use Facebook and other, things just to tell everybody around the world. But this is not Islamic manner. Such a person who is doing this thing is not a believer. So even if you have problem with your brother, don't tell anybody about the secret between you and Him when you were, brothers, and when you were trust each other. So, brothers and sisters, there are other many kinds of trust. We have to learn them and practice them in our life. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us, fulfill our hearts with the trust and make us among the believers who are practicing the trust in their life.